Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Savvy Women of Social Media. And today I'm interviewing Taryn Anderson, and she is a native to Connecticut and a graduate of Drexel University. She studied marketing and organizational management, and immediately after undergrad, she started with College Thoughts. She's the executive assistant and social media manager for the small company. She's working to expand growth, engagement, and reaching new audience members. Welcome, Taryn. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Good. Thank you for doing this. I'm excited to meet you, and we'll just get started. So, I guess for people just starting out, what is content and how should they get started?
I would say, well, content is just anything that you're putting online, whether that's a photo of you, a photo of your business, a video, a quote, a story. I'm more focused on Instagram, but Facebook now has stories too. It's literally whatever you're putting out there for someone to consume. And that's the way I look at it. And if someone's looking to get started, my biggest thing is that you just have to start. I have a personal Instagram account. I've started a YouTube channel, and I've had to just put myself out there and just do it. And for College Thoughts, our biggest goal was to roll out more content so that we reach students and families. You just have to start. You just have to find what your audience is looking for, find your niche, and just do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think just starting is really important. I guess if you're afraid, just go ahead and do it, and you'll know by the likes or comments or shares if it's working or not. So, what types of content are good for engagement?
Right now, I'm learning that the more stories you post related to your content is what's going to get you a lot of more engagement. So cute.
You've got a dog, I got a child.
It all works out.
All right.
Okay.
No, I need help getting the sauce out.
I can't right now, honey. I'm on live. Say hi to everybody. Now say goodbye. Goodbye. Go have a meat. Go on. Okay, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
it's totally okay. What was the question? What were we talking about? I know.
What
My
types
dog's
of
snoring.
content are good for engagement?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm learning that the more stories you're posting related to the content will increase that engagement because people are swiping through. And then in Instagram, you reach new levels at 500 followers. When you post a hashtag in stories, it's available to be on the explore page. When you reach 10,000 followers, you get swipe up options. So the stories and what's on your feed, relating that together is what I'm finding to be most helpful, as well as we're in the education niche. So any updating news on college admissions or news in general, I find gets a lot of engagement with the use of the right hashtags along with that.
I know you said you're using Instagram more, but which social media platform is that your favorite right now, you think?
That's definitely my favorite right now. That, and personally I like Twitter, but right now Instagram is really great. I know everyone loves TikTok right now. TikTok's like the new thing happening.
Yeah,
um,
I can't get onto TikTok.
I was addicted for a while as a 24-year-old, and I still felt old on TikTok. I was like, I feel way too old for this audience and what's going on. So I know TikTok is the crave right now, but Instagram and Facebook are hand in hand. Great.
Have you tried Instagram? What is it?
Reels.
Yeah, Reels.
I did do one personally. That's definitely something I want to dive in for College Thoughts as well because kids love it
Yeah.
and we reach kids. So that's definitely something I'm gonna have to learn more. But yeah, when that rolled out, I think last week, it was like TikTok who, it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's something.
Well, especially because, people are trying to get it banned from the United States. So I think Instagram was smart with, coming up with that and trying to take over.
Very smart move.
So is it good? I always hear this and I think it is, but is it good to repurpose content? And why should you repurpose content?
You mean reusing it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would personally think it's a good idea. For example, when we're working with students and we're talking about college admissions and SATs and everything like that, a lot of information doesn't change as the years go on. So the same information we're using last year is the same information we're gonna have to put out this year. If the Common App goes live August 1st every year, every year I'm going to be posting the same thing in the month of August. So I think repurposing content is amazing. And at the same time, when you're getting those new followers and new people liking your Facebook page, you have to reintroduce yourself and engage them and let them know who you are and what your content is about. You're not going to want to keep recreating the wheel.
Yeah, I agree. So, how do you reach new people with content? What's some good tips and what's some good content to reach those new people?
Hashtags and engagement are my number two ways of reaching new people right now. You need to find the right hashtags that work for your niche. So whether that be if you're a chef or you're a food blogger, you need to go to the top pages that have the top following and see what they're doing, find their hashtags, see what they're using, and you need to use it for you as well. That's how it works. That's how you're gonna grow up the algorithm. And engagement, whether it's any platform, if you don't have engagement in your post within the first hour, no one's gonna see your post. So you need to make sure that you're pushing it as hard as possible within that first hour. You need to get the likes, you need to get the shares, and you need to get the comments, likes and comments especially. And once those are being pushed, it keeps going in the algorithm as the days go by. If we're posting a post with the right hashtags and 80 people like it within the first hour, people are going to see it as the day goes by. It's not going to just disappear. And people in the niche are more likely going to see it.
So here's a question I get all the time. What are hashtags? What are they for? How do you use them? Since you brought them up. So can you explain to people what hashtags are and what the purpose is and all that?
Yeah, hashtags are I like to think of it as like a game of, what's that game when you played as a kid? Oh my God, I'm only 24 and I'm talking like I'm old. Tag, like you're playing tag with your friends. That's how I think about it. So if someone puts hashtag food on their thing and someone else is into hashtag food on their other page, you're playing tag with each other. They're gonna find your content easier. If I'm posting hashtag college admissions, a high school senior who's following that hashtag college admissions will be able to see my content even though they don't follow me. And so they're going to be more inclined to follow me if they go to my page and they're following the same tags. And that's the same case for all platforms. With LinkedIn, hashtags are really, really helpful for finding.
You're interrupting.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Okay, bye-bye. He was so good all morning. He didn't bother me at all until now because he knows I'm live.
Listen, kudos to you right now.
Anyways,
like even on LinkedIn, I found that when you really find the right hashtag for your group, your post can go crazy at that point. We haven't gotten there yet, but it's really just about finding what works for you, even if you have to change them from post to post. I like to keep different groups of different hashtags for different occasions.
Yeah,
that's my easiest way to explain it. It's like a game of tag on social media.
Where do you think hashtags work the best? Is it Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely Twitter is, I'm pretty sure, where it originated.
Yes.
So yeah, it is. So Twitter, it's gonna work regardless. You can click a hashtag, see the top ones, the most recent. That's the best bet. But on Instagram, you can actually follow hashtags, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think they're gonna go far on? I've been trying them on LinkedIn. I've been trying them for my clients on LinkedIn. Do you think they're gonna go far on LinkedIn? I don't see LinkedIn as a platform for hashtags.
I think that where it is now is where it's going to stop. I don't see it going further. As a business page admin on Instagram, what's good about the hashtags is you can see the trending posts within them. And that's the best one, because once you comment on those posts, that's when you can gain more traction. But on LinkedIn, I don't see it going further than what it is.
Yeah, me neither. I agree. So should people... Now, I've been doing more of this lately. Even though I'm in social media, I hate doing videos. But should people be doing video as content, and why?
I really think it depends on your audience. Personally, for us, for college thoughts, our videos got the most engagement. One, because we put subtitles. The videos don't have subtitles, not much is going to happen, because most times when people are scrolling through social media, they have headphones in or they're just not listening to sound. So if your video has words or music, I don't think it's going to get much engagement as you would hope for, but I really think it depends on your audience. For example, you see beauty gurus, they have to have videos, like that works for them. If we're explaining a college application process and we want a video, that will work. But I also think that captions can make up for videos. So if you have a great picture, I think your caption should be long enough and detailed so that you don't need a video. And then you can always make up for it in stories as well.
Mm-hmm. And how long do you think videos should be? What have you found works?
I personally like the 30 to 45-second range. If it's an IGTV, I think between 2 and 5 minutes could work. We do videos, our videos that were always between 2 and 3 minutes probably work the best, because you're going to lose that attention span after a while.
Yeah.
When it comes to videos on stories, I maxed it at between 5 and 6 stories. But yeah, that's probably my general ballpark.
So when it comes to finding content, if you're stuck on creating your own content, not sure what to create, you're just getting started, what are some good places to find content have you found?
Twitter. Yeah, probably Twitter, because Twitter you can always go to news like stories, and you can Twitter is where you can find a lot of emerging conversations, topics that are relevant, what's happening now, things that people should know. I hate to say like Twitter is our news of this generation, but it really is. I don't watch the news. I don't watch anything. Twitter is where I get everything from. So I would say Twitter is where I would go to find content. And there are a lot of Facebook groups that help social media content creators with different calendars, different ideas. You can bounce off ideas out of other creators, and I think that's pretty awesome. We personally purchased a social media content calendar that actually has helped just keep us on track. And if have a brain fart, we can just hop in there and be like, hey, like, what are you guys creating right now? Like, do you have any ideas? And you talked about reusing the content. When you see a creator that's in your niche who's doing great things and they're big and they're popular, recreate their content. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Recreate what they're doing, make it your own, find a way to make it better, find a way to fit you, just recreate it. That's what everyone does anyway.
Yeah, I follow a lot of social media people, and I'll just make it my own. And, especially with blogs, because I'm always stuck with what to blog about, even though social media is always changing. I'm like, okay, what do I blog about this week?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll definitely find topics on the internet and just make it my own.
Yeah.
So you brought up a content calendar. How important is that, do you think?
Extremely important. I mean, as I mentioned, right now, our goal is to grow our Instagram presence. If you're not posting 1 to 2 times a day on your feed, and you're not posting your stories, you're not going to go anywhere. So I need to make sure that there are posts lined up every single day of the week, even Saturday and Sunday when I don't work. I need to make sure those are ready to go, even when I'm not looking. Automation is key. Posts going automatically up, scheduling them. That's been key. That's what I found to really work when it comes to pushing our engagement growth. Right now I use buffer.com, which I love. You can add all your accounts, schedule everything in. You can copy and paste the same post for each platform. So scheduling it, I used to think it wasn't important until, you have to do it multiple times a day.
Yeah, exactly. I've been using Hootsuite for years, and I actually love Hootsuite. Shoot, I had a question. Now I forgot. Darn it. Oh, when it comes to sharing content on different platforms, do you think, because I hear different responses to this, do you think it's okay to share the same information maybe on different days or different times, or do you change it up according to which social media platform you're using?
So I can break it down with the different platforms. So Facebook and Instagram are relatively going to be the same size. time for me and for us, you have to check your analytics always to see what time people are online, what time they engage the most, work that out. But usually those two I can post within the same 2 hour block. And a lot of our Facebook members aren't on Instagram and vice versa. So I need to share all the content in all areas. If anything, I do change the Facebook caption a little bit more. I make it just a little bit more less casual, just to fit that audience more. LinkedIn, I find that the morning to early afternoon works the best because that's when these business savvy people are up, that's when they're really engaged. So, and that those captions are always very professional, straight to the point. They don't have time to read paragraphs. So, and Twitter, you can tweet any time of the day. It'll work whenever, because Twitter is very hard to grow on. That's a hard platform to get noticed on. So whoever follows you or whoever sees it, whatever hashtag, it's going to be seen at any time. So I don't really have a schedule for the Twitter part.
Yeah, Twitter, I think it's so fast paced, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're not sharing at least 15 to 20 times a day, you're going to get lost in the shuffle because it is so fast paced. How big, and I talked about this, I think last week, but to me, I think knowing who your target market is so important. And I used to be one of those people that would say, oh, I could work with anybody. But how big is it to know who your target market is when it comes to social media and finding which platforms work and stuff like that?
It's very important, especially I think age plays a big factor. We don't like to admit it a lot of the time. We don't want to have ageism and all that stuff, but I think that's a very important key factor. Even when you're creating a Facebook ad, you need to dive deep into those options. You need to figure out how old these people are that you want to attract. Personally, like if we're college thoughts, we're not attracting a 6-year-old grandfather on Facebook. We're just not. That's not our audience. And we're not attracting 12-year-olds on TikTok. That's not going to work. You have to really narrow in on who you want to see your content, because ultimately I believe a lot of content creators and social media people, one of their goals is money. And so if these people that you're attracting aren't going to buy your product or sell into you, there's no purpose. I mean, yeah, they can like your post, but what's that ultimately going to do for you? If we're not attracting high school students, we're not getting paid. So I think that that's a really big opportunity for you to analyze who your audience is, especially when it comes to Facebook. They make it very easy for you to find and pinpoint people that will work for you.
So with Facebook's algorithm changing all the time, I always hear, I don't get the following, I don't get the likes, no matter what I do on my Facebook page, I just don't get it. I get more engagement on my personal account. What's the point of having a Facebook page? What are your thoughts on that?
I would probably agree to that sentiment. When we share our business posts to our personal pages, we get so much more engagement. I'm not really sure what Facebook is doing with their algorithm when it comes to the business pages. I mean, I even have a personal business page for a YouTube channel that I have, and even that page will get people liking it that have nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely agree to that sentiment. That's one of those things that you have to tackle head on and learn the science behind before just diving in, especially because Facebook's analytics, in my opinion, have not caught up to the analytics of Instagram or YouTube at all. They're a little behind. And
yeah, I agree.
When you're on the personal page, you have friends who can also help engage those posts. Those friends are sharing your posts, they're trying to share your page. And so I agree to that one.
So how did you get into social media? What do you love about it so much?
I think that after graduating with a marketing degree and working with a small business, I think that, social media has a lot of power. Like I said, Twitter's my news. Like that's my morning news every day, all day. Um, I think that as I'm in my mid 20s, approaching my mid 20s, I'm realizing how powerful it actually is. I already had a pretty good following on my personal Instagram account, and influencers are now a thing. Like that's a full job in itself, which is mind blowing, but it's so important in my opinion. I mean, we have people who are the same age of us who look like us. They're not these famous actors and actresses trying to sell a car in a commercial. It all makes sense when you follow along the history behind it. I mean, Instagram came out when I was in high school, and you could find people nearby that were similar to you. I think that's just awesome. And when it comes to college thoughts and being a small business, I think it's a very important tool that you need to carry along your business line if you want to keep reaching new clients. So I think that everything behind it, like just what it stands for in general, is just awesome. I think that it can be harmful, of course, and you can
Oh
use it the
yeah.
wrong way. But besides that, like side of it, it's just you can't. It's something that I don't think anyone would have guessed would be this big years ago.
No, I don't
No
think
one would guess this.
I would have never thought I'd be doing this as a business, but I so love it. Are you like me that you love all of the changes where it drives other people nuts?
Yeah, like people didn't like the likes going away. I personally did not care, and I also
Yeah.
really liked it. I agreed to what was going on. There's some changes that are like I don't really understand it. You got to work it out, but I think it's just gonna keep changing as the years go on.
Yeah, definitely. So what is one tip for each platform, if you could give any, for like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those? What's one tip that you can give for each platform?
I would say LinkedIn post before noon. Always, even if you can post at 6 to 7 a.m., post in the morning because even if those people don't exactly fit your niche, for example, our students aren't going to be on LinkedIn. That's just the truth, but their teachers are.
Mm.
Their principals are, their business, the people funding those schools will be online. Always post in the morning. Wake up with them and do whatever they do because it's working for them, so it can work for you. Twitter, use your hashtag. If you see a current event happening, get in on the conversation as soon as possible, whether that's retweeting, liking, quoting the tweet. I think quoting tweets is hands down one of the best features that Twitter has ever come up with. Instagram, get engagement within the first hour. Don't let your post just sit there. Share it to your story, DM it to people, tell people to go like it, comment on it, because you will get lost in the shuffle. The algorithm will just drown you and no one's going to see the post, which is sad. And it never was like that, but it is what it is now. We have to just
Mhm.
work with what we got. And Facebook, like we just talked about, use your Facebook family. Facebook is a very old platform now. It was out before I was even in middle school. So
Oh, that makes me feel old.
I like Facebook has been around for a while, which means that a lot of us have a big like a large amount of friends on our platforms, on our personal pages. Utilize that because a lot of people who are I want to say 28, 30 and up, they love Facebook. That's their thing right now. And they love sharing things. They love helping people on Facebook. So I think those are my few tips.
So next month, I'm going to be interviewing people with how COVID has affected them and their business or where they work. So when COVID hit, how did that affect college thoughts and how did you have to pivot with the company to move forward and still be able to get your message out there?
I think we kind of got lucky in a sense. College stock. I mean, obviously, everyone took a financial toll all over. That's just the obvious. But I think we got lucky in the sense that everyone was home
Yeah.
doing nothing. Like I working from home, but when you're working from home, it's different than being in an office. We always have worked from home, so that wasn't a change for us. But when everyone else is home, we can connect with them so much more easier. We have students who are home trying to figure out what to do, how to do the virtual learning, how to function with the college process, and that benefited us in a way because we have parents who are also home stuck with kids, and they're like, I have no idea what to do. I mean, like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah, you saw. Yep. Uh-huh.
So it's like I think it helped us in a way. I think this is the most engagement we've ever gotten since we've been online, and I think that's why social media is so powerful in a sense because it's going to help you. And I've seen a lot of small businesses work their way through Twitter, work their way through Facebook and Facebook groups explaining how COVID has affected them, and people help them. It's become very much so like a helpful and empowering time.
So how do you see, so you help explain what College Thoughts is. You help kids get into college or go through the whole process of being accepted?
Okay, so how I like to put it is we basically demystify the entire process to going from high school to college. We love getting students between 7th and 9th grade. That seems early for a lot of parents, but that's the best time to work with coaches, because you can play the cards for them. If we're getting a student at 11th, 12th grade, the card's already there and we have to figure it out. So if your GPA state 11th grade and you're just now coming to us, we have to just work with what we got. But we love to coach students early on, set their goals, make sure everything they're doing is goal oriented, whether that's helping them advocate for themselves in the classroom, taking those AP honor classes, and then between that 11th and 12th grade years when we're honing on test prep, recommendations, everything that goes into getting into your dream school.
So now with COVID and with everything being remote, how, I know you said it's been good for your business, but how has it really, have colleges really been that affected now that things are remote more? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of questions are coming up, especially for these seniors who are about to, well, even when COVID was happening in March, we had seniors trying to pick what school they're going to go to in the fall, and these schools may not even be open. A lot of schools are opting in for virtual learning. So it changes how you choose your school, how you play out with financial aid. So I definitely think it's affected that in a way. It seems a little minor to people who don't have those kids in that situation right now, but these high school students in a way are going through a change that we've never had. We've never had to do virtual learning. We've never had to ask a teacher for a recommendation through a screen after not seeing them for a year. Just a lot of things are going to be changing, and it's a lot of new ways that students are going to have to go about getting to these schools. Even when a lot of schools went test optional, what about these kids that have all these great scores, and what about these kids who couldn't take the SAT because they had no option? It's a lot of factors that are weighing into these applications, and that's why we're doing what we do.
Wow. Yeah, it is crazy. I only have a 9-year-old and I don't think about college. I just think about what we're doing now. And it's just so crazy how things are right now with COVID, and who knows when it's going to get changed. Do you see yourself doing this in the long run, or as a business doing social media and stuff like that?
Personally, I do see myself getting into social media a little bit for a few years. I also do aspire to get more into the marketing side of things again. I think that was great to learn in college. I've had internships where I've learned marketing, and it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when it comes to internal marketing in different companies. So at one point, I do see myself going into more of a marketing sector, even if that's within college thoughts as we grow. But I definitely, social media is not going anywhere as much as people think it is.
No.
I think it's going to go. Even someone's thinking about buying TikTok, so it's not banned. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. If anything, it's just going to get better. So you'll always have a job in social media.
Yeah, I know. I'm lucky, right? We're lucky that way. We'll always have a job.
Yeah.
So right now with COVID, how important is social media? If people are really saying, oh, I don't know, maybe now is the time, why should I? I think it's really important because, like you said, people are home, but what are your thoughts on that?
I'm going to touch on what you said. When people, do you mean like people are like questioning if they should get into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see YouTubers making more than what a list celebrity makes now. That's how deep social media is right now. And I started a channel last November, and I was even questioning if that was a good idea, but I think there's always a place for you in whatever niche you find. There's always going to be someone who finds your content good and great, and they want to engage with you and follow you and see what you have to say. I think that you should just go for it. Like I said in the beginning, you just have to do it. You just have to dive into it as deep as possible and stay consistent. That's the biggest thing with social media, which is why a lot of people fizzle out fast.
Yeah.
Is that if you're not consistent, you're going to be forgotten and the next big person is going to come along. So I think that you should just do it in your home. Everyone's home, but everyone's also figuring out new hobbies. They're trying to figure out how to live life with our new normal. So why not just do something different anyway?
So what's your YouTube channel all about?
My personal channel is just about like lifestyle. As a 24-year-old, just finding their way through life. I Adulting hit really hard after college for me, and it was very hard to figure out. And I found out a lot of other people related to that. So, you know, even talking about how I'm dealing with financial issues that I have post college, you know, sharing that. A lot of people are into my hair is very long. So even like that, simple things like that. And I try to relate it back to my Instagram. So,
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's all I have. So is there anything you want to add?
no, that's it. That was great. That was a lot of good questions coming from you.
Thank you. Well, I started this series. Oh God, who was it that referred you to me? Lily, I think.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, Lily. So I started this series, just spur of the moment. I've been wanting to do interviews in my group and I just never did. And with COVID, it was, a good thing for me because it made me focus on my business, and interviewing women in business is just so important. I think there's some networking groups out there that that showcase women, but there's not many. So I wanted a place that, I could do that and where women could feel comfortable. And I think, even though we do the same thing, we have our own aspect of, our own opinion of what works and what doesn't. And we agree on a lot. I agreed with a lot of the things that you said. So I just think it's really important to learn from different people.
I definitely agree with the woman aspect. We're a minority, and that's just the sad truth of it. And whatever way you can build your platform to help the next woman, I think that's that's one thing you will always do that will always help someone. I mean, one of my biggest inspirations is Michelle Obama, and she just created a podcast out of nowhere.
Yes, I'm reading her book now, actually. I love it.
Such a good book. And she just talked about COVID and how it's changed her life. And it's just like, any way you can empower another woman, it's always going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much for doing this. If you have any questions for Taryn or myself, make sure to comment in the Facebook Live there, and we will make sure to answer them. But thank you so much, Taryn, for doing this. It was nice meeting you, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, you too, as well. Great.
Definitely. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.